What you do, first of all, is go into the practice, simple practice, just for 2 minutes of awareness of breathing. So if it serves you to close your eyes, and remember, closing your eyes reduces visual information. It's primarily what it does. So it enables your brain to focus on other things more effectively, because we're very visual. So if closing your eyes helps you to take that attention much more internally into the body, then do that. Remember, there's always the option of half closing the eyes. That's also very valid and a powerful route of practice. So the 3 positions of eyes closed, eyes half closed, eyes open, they're all used in different meditation practices in different ways, at different times for different purposes. So it's about what serves, what works now. And since we're coming into focus, this is a meditation practice. We're finding awareness, focusing the mind, it's meditation. So find the breath, effortlessly find the breath in your awareness field. And bring your attention, not quite laser-like, but pretty focused. So you keep that kind of orb of awareness in the whole body, feeling the whole body, the top of the head, your bum, your legs, your arms, your hands, feeling everything. But the attention is primarily on the breath, really feeling the incoming flow, the inhalation, and the exhalation. Focusing the mind. So when we focus the mind on the breath, one can also use other foci for a dharana practice, for a mind focusing practice. The breath is profound because it's always available. The breath is profound because it's connected to other body processes, digestion, emotion, cognition. When we focus the mind like this, it builds stronger neural bridges into the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. And this is part of the mechanism whereby meditation changes both the structure and the function of the brain, because it gives us a greater level of choice as opposed to reactivity. You either have reactivity, reflexivity, or you have choice. I could say even if it's the illusion of choice, but that's a whole different philosophical conundrum, which I certainly don't want to go into tonight. And just check that that breath now is coming through the nose, inhalation and exhalation through the nose. See if you can spread the nostrils a little wider than you usually do. See if you can feel the tongue behind the top teeth, resting gently behind the roots of the top teeth. And just notice the jaw slacken and relax that tiny little bit more. Notice how much the belly can expand as the diaphragm pushes down. And notice the recoil, the elasticity of the exhalation as the diaphragm relaxes. And as that belly expands outwards under the pressure, the force of the diaphragm pushing down, I want you to feel into that belly. Feel any areas that feel stuck. If there's any sensation. And breathe a little bit more deeply into the belly. All the viscera and the visceral fascia are all sliding across each other as you breathe in. Pelvic floor, the pelvic diaphragm is moving downwards. The muscles around the spine at the back, the quadratus lumborum, on both sides are being pushed slightly out. The kidneys are moving down, the liver's moving down. The heart's dropping a little bit, just above the diaphragm, it's connected to the diaphragm. And the ideal is that what Tom Myers calls the joints between the organs. There are, of course, no joints, but it's the slippy visceral fascia, is that is free to move and it feels good. And if it feels good, then enhance the smile on your face and enjoy the goodness of the simplicity of the breath, the natural simplicity of breath. So welcome. Gently open your eyes. Allow your breath to do whatever it needs to do now. Just let go of any control or awareness even. You can keep awareness on the breath, but you can let go of control for a moment. Now your brain is largely composed of neurons, which are the kind of nerve cells. And then neural glia, which are the cells that wrap around and serve the neurons. They're super important. And there's billions of both of these kinds of cells. Every single neuron has about 50,000 connections with other neurons, about 50,000. And so if you multiply that up with all the neurons in the brain, you're talking somewhere between 500 and 1,000 trillion connections, synapses in the brain. Just take a breath and feel that for a minute. Just feel how this awesome brain is the one in your head. We all have one. Well, we don't really have it. It has us. It is. We don't possess it, do we? Feel it. And every breath you take affects this. As you breathe in through the nose, the breath coming in through the nose as you lift it up affects the base of the brain and just underneath the limbic system. You can increase your experience of the level of joy simply by breathing well. Now, the signals in the brain are chemical and electrical signals. A lot of neurotransmitters, dopamine, serotonin, so many. And the electrical signals, when they, the neurons go through cycles of activation and then relaxation. And those cycles, the cycles of activation, relaxation, movement of electrical traffic, if you like, that gives you the oscillation period that we then measure as brainwaves. And that's measured in hertz. It's called hertz, H-E-R-Z, hertz, or cycles per second, H-E-R-T-Z, I believe. It's hertz or cycles per second. So it's measured in hertz. I'm going to talk about a little bit about brainwave states tonight. I'm going to get you to navigate through those. You've already just jumped between states, because if you've had a busy day, if you've had a really busy day, just think back to your day. Just think back to some of the things you've done, especially if you've had a busy day. If you've had any crises or difficulties in the course of the day, things you've had to navigate, with some complexity, and think back to them for a moment and let your brain consciously go into a beta state. Now, beta state is 14 to 30 cycles per second, or hertz per second, 14 to 30. And what I want you to do is be really comfortable going back in there. And see if you can go into a high beta state, which is close to the, really busy thinking. Sorting problems out, dealing with difficulties, dealing with difficult people, that kind of thing. High beta state. That's 14 to 30 cycles per second. And then take a breath in now, slowly through the nose. Take a breath in slowly through the nose, as slow as you can. And breathe out slowly. You can breathe out slowly through the nose. You can breathe out through the mouth. If you purse your mouth gently, as if you're blowing air out very, very slowly. So if there's a feather there, it's almost imperceptible. You wouldn't be blowing it. You could try that. That's a way of slowing down the exhale as well. So a long, slow, full inhalation, spreading the nostrils. That's a long, slow, full inhalation, spreading the nostrils. A long, slow exhale, as long as you possibly can. And let's do at least 9 breaths like this now. That's 1 already. And 2. That's the second breath. And as you breathe, check in the awareness field of your body and check if there's any tense muscles, and just consciously relax them and bring your mind's attention to them and just let them relax. Best they will. Best they will. Stay with the breath practice. That's 4 breaths. And 5. Eyes closed. And 6. And 7. Keep letting go, keep softening the body, keep relaxing the body. Tongue softly behind the top teeth, lips soft, little smile. And 8. And 9 breaths. Now you're in an alpha state. Just get familiar with this place. Stay with the breath now, keep lengthening it, but get really comfortable with this place and feel the difference between where you were in the beta and the high beta and where you are in the alpha. Once you get familiar with the states, you can navigate between them. You can choose where to be. You can go, oh, I'm in a high beta state. I'm not sure I want to be here for very long. It's okay for a while. I'll do a little problem solving, and then you can drop yourself out of it. And you can drop yourself out of it with 9 breaths. And as you practice the transition from state to state, you can then begin to do it consciously, just at will, on demand. Stay with the breath for now and get really comfortable with this state. Fantastic. Take a breath in, shake your head and jaw. I'm going to interrupt. So Think about something you've done today that was fun, that was beautiful, that was quite crazy, maybe wild, anything at all really, anything that was cool. I went out to water my allotment. I just got back before teaching class tonight. I was busy working on the computer. I've got to water the plants on my allotment. It's very, very dry up there. So we're back in the beta state. Now, just tell yourself a little story about something you've done today. And I did this, this, and this, and tell yourself a little story just for 5-10 seconds, that's all. Because we want you to shift back into the beta state and back out again and get really comfortable and familiar with it. Are you ready? Just for 5 to 10 seconds. Anything at all. Yeah, what you had for breakfast. What you did before breakfast. Great. Now take that long, slow inhale again. Spread the nostrils wide. Get these nostrils spreading open here. Tongue behind the top teeth, just rest of it. Jaw relaxed and soft. So we want the cranial nerves relaxing, which is why we're using the tongue in place, because it helps to switch off those language-forming cranial nerves and the brain associated with it. Long, slow inhale, instant relaxing the whole body. If you've got upper trapezius tightness, notice them drop. Yeah. Notice any tension in the jaw. Notice any tension around the diaphragm. Notice any tension around the pelvis. Notice all the areas of the body that can hold tension and just soften them instantly. Lengthen that exhale, lengthen that exhale, lengthen that exhale, lengthen that exhale. You don't have to count it, but it's going to be something like double length exhale to the length of the inhale, heading in that direction. Really don't have to count it, because counting on top of the breath in the practice we're doing now would be a distraction. So just feel the breath. Again, second breath or third breath already we're at. Feel the softness around your eyes. You can feel how the intensity around the eyes changes. Feel the softness around the ears and the jaw and the tongue. And you feel the somatic changes that go with the change of state. So we're back into the alpha state, which is around 8 to 12 hertz per second. 8 to 12 hertz. It's 8 to 12 cycles per second. So land deeply, really let yourself drop into the alpha state. It's that kind of feeling you have before you drift asleep. The theta state comes when you are asleep. And we're going to go there in a minute. Now again, mostly people go into the theta state when they're asleep, not when they're awake. But you can cultivate a practice of going to theta state when you're awake, and many people have done this as part of their creativity practice. Edison was one of them. Einstein was another. Ramanujan, I'm told, is another, a mathematician called Ramanujan. Many creatives access the theta state as part of their practice, because the theta state is the creative state. It's the state of imagination. It's the state that children are in between the ages of 0 and 8. The intense learning state. And being able to access this on demand is quite a potent skill. So we're going to deepen that breath, slow that breath a little bit more. And add in micro breath holds at the end of the inhale and the end of the exhale. Without letting those breath holds have any consequence on the length of the following breath. So the length of the inhale and the exhale remains long, super long. Longer than before if you can. So we're dropping down from the 8 to 14, 8 to 12 of the alpha state into the roughly 4 to 7 cycles per second, 4 to 7 hertz of the theta state. Micro breath hold. Let yourself drift. Let the body soften and relax. And encourage a little eye movement from side to side, the eye saccades that are the same as in REM, the rapid eye movement sleep state that is the theta state. So we're using the eye saccades as a way of initiating theta state. And it can really help if you look up a little bit, if the eye saccades have a slight upward glance to them. You'll do this for a few minutes. So long, slow, full inhale, spreading the nostrils, really slow. Slower than you may have ever have breathed before. Micro hold, just tentative, gentle micro hold. And a super long exhale, and all the way through this, you're getting these eye saccades. Now, the theta state in daily life is not a normal state for people to go into. Who don't do this, or not since they're a child. And then that's not unless they have a practice of doing it. Meditators can do it. Artists do it. Musicians can do it too. So it is normal, it is natural, it's just unusual. But see how much you can go into this now. Again, sometimes there's resistance. Sometimes it's difficult to get into the states because there's resistance. So just notice the resistance if there is any. And have a little question in the corner of your mind as to why that might be. Theta state is partly called the intense learning state. It's about memory consolidation. And it facilitates rapid learning. There's also emotional processing. And practices like this are used in EMDR, eye movement desensitization, reprocessing, where they are actively going into old trauma and processing it using the REM, rapid eye movement, and therefore the theta state, just like would happen in sleep. So if you want to bring to bear anything that's been demanding today, and you want to rapidly process it, use this breath. Recall the event at the same time as you're breathing, at the same time as you're moving the eyes. And let the breath relax now. Let the breath relax. Stay focusing on the breath, on the inhalation. Spread the nostrils. Feel the spread. Gently, gently. It's like you're not doing anything, but it's there. The eyes are relaxed. You're going to see how slowly you can breathe now. Letting the breath pause. If it naturally wants to do so, let it pause. Let it rest, let it stop. Start lengthening the inhale. Breathing in little tiny sips, little micro inhales, one after another, very slowly. So gradually heading into about one breath a minute. So dropping into the theta delta border if you're heading into one breath a minute. If you can get the breath a little bit longer than that, you're heading in towards the delta state. And the delta state is from 0 to 4 cycles per second. It's the deep sleep state. It's where we rejuvenate, where we heal, where we release human growth hormone. We know that some long-term meditators, the deep practice, can access this in meditation. You can access it with breath work. This is the parasympathetic route into it, of lengthening the breath and down-regulating the system. This is a really good place if you're working on any resolutions, any changes in your life which are useful to put seeds of intention in place. It's a good place to implant them. It's, of course, the hypnotherapeutic practice, which is used to put positive suggestions that you create for yourself into your mind as seeds of intent, because these act as seeds in terms of how we then perceive, see, and direct ourselves in the world. Keeping the eyes relaxed, keeping the body soft and relaxed. Start breathing in more fully now. Breathe in through the nose as fully as you can. Get into the thoracic breath. So we're going to open the chest up with the breath as big and as wide as you can, and then breath out. Relax and soften, relax and soften, relax and soften. Then inhale. Tongue behind the top teeth, jaw relaxed, space between the lips, and then relax, let go. And again, inhale again. Relax, let go. You can let go with sound. Just to relax, release through the mouth is fine, release through the nose is fine. Inhale. And let go. And again, inhale. Let go, it's fine. Now, If you've trained your nose well, you'll be able to do this really easily through the nose. If you've not yet done that nasal training, or if there are complications in some way for you to make that difficult, allow some air in through your mouth if needs be. So we're getting the chest switched on. I'm going in much more into a sympathetic state now. Again, go into it, going deep, fully and deeply into the breath. So it's 3 to 4 second inhale, and then a 3 second or so release on the exhale. Let's get another 20 breaths like this in. That's 1. And again. And 2, release. Front, side, and back of the body. Feel the whole circumference of the body as you're breathing in. Open that chest up, front, side, and back, and release, let go of everything. Let go of whatever's past, and everything's past. As soon as you notice the out breath, it's gone. Let go with the gone. It's gone already. Let it go. Breath in. The in-breath's gone. Let go into the exhale. The exhale's gone. Let it go. Breath in. And it's gone. Breathing out. And it's gone. Breathing in. Front, side, and back of the body. Some real discipline of attention here into the circumference of the body, into the power of the breath, into the nostrils. Feel the mechanics of breathing here fully and completely. And facilitate that release on the exhalation. So we are getting rid of carbon dioxide of the blood, alkalizing the blood. You're going to a slightly sympathetic state. You're going the other way into the brainwave states. Keep going. You start feeling a bit dizzy already, a bit fizzy or a bit dizzy, that's okay. Keep going. And as you breathe, let the eyes flicker from side to side. Let them look up a little bit as you're breathing as well. And release, let go. Let the eyes drop down. Breath in, eyes looking up, flickering from side to side. Exhale, let go. Full 360-degree breath. Another 5 minutes like this. That's 1 minute. That's 2. Keep going. Time distortion is very normal when you do breath work. You can enhance your experience of time. You get more value from your life by doing this because you can make your moments seem so long. And that's great if you're having a good time. It's not great if you're having a bad time, but it's great if you're having a good time. So you can enhance your experience of life. Take a full deep breath in. Breathe in. And let it go and let everything go. It's gone. It's gone. All the stories, all the emotions, integrate them now. Let the eyes flicker from side to side, integrating everything, fully integrating everything, and let it go on the exhale. It's integrated. It's done. Let it go. Move forward. Breath in. No gripping. Let go. Yoga talks about it, about aparigraha. Keep breathing. Aparigraha is not gripping onto anything. Let it go. Ungrip, let it go. That's 3 minutes. That was a long minute. Did you notice that? And breathe again. Move the head, shake the body if you need to, wiggle, let everything be free, free up the musculature of the body, let nothing be held tight, let everything soften. That's 4. Full inhale, 360, full inhale, relax neck, relax jaw, relaxed eyes, exhale, let go. If you want to breathe out, you can breathe out like through a straw as well. You can make sound, you've got options here. And let go. And that's about 5 minutes. And breathe out slowly now. Breathe out slowly. 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 Very gently hold the breath out the body. Bring your attention down into the chest, down into the body. Bring your attention down. It's called bringing, in yoga land, they call this bringing the prana down. You're bringing the energy, the living field of energy. You're bringing that experience from the head down into the body. You're bringing the prana down into the heart. Landing it in the center of the heart. Hold it down. Gentle breath hold. Feel your pelvic floor. Ground that energy down and earth the energy down to the pelvic floor. Earth it down into the pelvic floor. Still holding the breath out. Relax into the breath hold. There's no thinking. There's no thought space. We're well and truly out of the beta state. You notice eye movement happening. It could be rapid eye movement happening. And you're probably in the theta state already. Hold the breath out. Keep holding it for as long as you can. Whenever you need to breathe, you breathe, okay? But do it slowly. So first of all, smile and release all the muscles in the body. Check into the muscles, check into the soma, the living body, and just check everything feels good, feels relaxed, feels soft, feels easy, feels delightful. And then smile even more. And then breathe in through the nose. Slowly, slowly, slowly through the nose. And as you breathe in, take the eyes up and look up slowly, breathing in, breathing in, breathing in, super slow. If you're still holding your breath, hold your breath. It's fine. You can do that breath in a minute. Hold the breath in when you come to the end of the inhale. Hold it in for a moment. Still looking up into the sky. Getting really comfortable with the non-referential space. There isn't anybody here. There's nobody home. There's just, you might have an experience of luminosity, spaciousness. Expansive spaciousness, softness, luminosity, emptiness. There's nothing. Allow it. Don't get scared of it. There's nothing to be scared of. And whenever you're ready, slowly breathe out and see how slowly you can breathe out. And then follow it with another slow inhale, turning the eyes up on the inhalation. The little breath hold at the end of the inhale and the end of the exhale now in. So it's kind of a rectangular breath with very long sides, very long inhale, very long exhale, short breath holds. Just a few more breaths like this. Tension in the center of your chest still. And let go of any control over the breath at the end of the next exhalation. Give the breath back to the brainstem. Stay noticing the breath, paying attention to everything, noticing the whole body. If it helps, you can scan the body. Just gently scan the body with the mind, feel it with the mind. You might be able to sense, feel, be aware of the whole body all as a kind of holistic entity. And as you breathe, you can remember. You can remember that this holistic entity is inseparable from everything that surrounds it. It's really a continuous fractal with oxygen entering into every single cell, including the synapses, including the neurons, including the glia, the neural glia. And all these brainwaves are powered by ATP from the mitochondria, which are breaking sugars and ketones, which comes from plants, with the aid of oxygen, which comes from plants. This whole living body is inseparable from the environment. And you can let yourself relax into this, as this. And the more fully you can allow yourself to relax into this, as this, with a delicious smile on your face. Almost as if the body is disappearing, a bit like the Cheshire Cat, with just the smile left. Let yourself relax. Right now, there's no one to be, nowhere to go, and nothing to prove. Nothing. You can just allow this. Aware of the body, aware of the breath. And if there are moments of insight, flashes of insight, these are what are called gamma spikes. spikes of gamma waves, which are around about 25 to 100 hertz cycles per second. And where we get these little satoris, these moments of insight, these aha moments, it's gamma spikes. And the more you meditate, the more you reflect, and the more you go into the states, the more these happen. So activate the breath again very gently and very slowly through the nose, tongue behind the teeth, relax those cranial nerves, relax the muscles in the face. And get the breath feeling of the breath movement up the spine. And around the top of the head. As if you're breathing up the spine and around the cranium. And on the exhalation, back down again. It's almost like a snake of energy is coming up your spine, curling over the top of the head and the back, and then gently back down again with every breath. Now, if it helps, you can energize that snake a little bit by pulsing the pelvic floor. Find which part of the pelvic floor does that for you. Is it the anal triangle, or the urogenital triangle, or the perineum? If you haven't explored those areas yet, then there's the other video on the pelvic floor to look at. Breath in the pelvic floor. Now, the reason why people use the mantra Om in yoga and Buddhism, and it's translated into Christianity and Islam as Amen, Amin, or Amen, Om. It's the sound that starts universes. In the beginning was the vibration. The vibration was Om, kind of thing. And it continues as a background hum of the universe. The reason why people use that is because that represents the vibrational states: waking, sleeping, and dreaming. Waking, dreaming, and sleeping. Theta, alpha, theta, and delta. And the continuity of consciousness, which is where all those states are known as one continuum. And that's called Turiya, the fourth. So people chant that and use that precisely to initiate and to remember those states as a continuum. It's the reason for the practice. So if you want to, you can use it. If you don't want to, then just use a kind of humming sound, a feeling of a humming. But what we're going to do here on the inhale is imagine a humming on the inhale to enhance that in-breath, that snaky feeling up the spine on the in-breath, and actively hum on the exhale, very quietly. If you're familiar with Ujjayi breath, you can use Ujjayi breath as well. Really slow Ujjayi breath. Those of you who don't know Ujjayi breath, it can be done very gently and very quietly, and it's where you squeeze the glottis. It takes practice to master it. It takes quite a while to master it. It's done badly when it sounds like Darth Vader, but it's done very quietly. And you squeeze the vocal cords, and that puts a restriction on the air, which gives a very slight sound to the breath. I do it loud, it sounds like this. And it's supposed to be very smooth. So it takes practice. And it's supposed to be very quiet as well. So if you know Ujjayi breath, and if you've practiced enough to master it, then use it with the hum, or with the om, on the inhalation and the exhalation. As if you're breathing in up from the back of the body, all the way around to the forehead now, and then back again. There's a brainwave state that's been found in meditators, and it's believed to be the case with classical musicians as well. And it's called the gamma state. And this is where the brain and the whole nervous system act as a unified field. There's not lots of disparate activity going on in different parts of the brain. It's a cohesive, harmonious brainwave activity. And with this practice, we're approaching into that now. Of course, you're going to have to take these practices away and practice them for hours on end. Or 5 minutes at a time here and there. Whatever space you've got in your life to do them. Of course, a deep, slow breath like this can be practiced anywhere. You can do a quiet Ujjayi breath anywhere. You can do an internal hum. But what you're doing is you're bringing your brain and your nervous system into a cohesive, harmonious state. Just a few breaths more. Beautiful. I mean it, beautiful. And relax the breath now. Relax the breath now. Just gently pay attention to the breath. Quietly pay attention to the breath, giving breath back to the brainstem. Brainstem breathing, but with awareness. You can allow your brain and your body to be flooded with neurochemicals of delight, neurochemicals of bliss, even though the world is in chaos and everything around you is falling apart. You can take the time, short period of time, to learn to navigate the states. Beta, the beta state, roughly 12 to 30 cycles per second. The alpha state, roughly 7 to 12 cycles per second, 7 to 14, somewhere around there. The theta state, which is around 4 to 7 cycles per second, it's a softer, deeper feel. And the delta state, 0 to 4. And then this gamma state of insight, gamma spikes, and the cohesive, harmonious gamma state. And we can access these states through parasympathetic process and going deeper and deeper and deeper and stiller and stiller and stiller. Or we can activate a sympathetic process, an activated nervous system, take us into these states, which leads actually to the brain deoxygenating and certain parts of the brain shutting down. But getting comfortable, getting easy, getting happy with all the states and moving in and out of them starts us to make us a skilled mind athlete, a psychonaut, psychonaut, so that we can access these at will. They become skills on demand. And yes, people can do that.